More corruption in the Ellenville building department. Most of you have known my slugfest right now with Brian Shug, the building inspector here in Ellenville. If you don't know it, go to exposeellenvillebuildinginspector.com. You'll see my videos there. You'll see this. But I'm here to tell you it's not only Brian Shug, the building inspector, the code enforcer, that I have problems with. His assistant, or the fire inspector, Ken Bozo, I'm going to call him out in this video. I'm going to call him out for being unethical and unprofessional. He's very unprofessional. I've had 2 or 3 fire inspectors now. I've had many health inspectors over my course of 25 years of in this business, owning Aroma Thyme for 13, being a partner in another restaurant in Colorado, being at a country club, being an executive chef at 3 country clubs. I've been in charge of a lot of inspections. I'm the person they go to when something's wrong. I'm the person that signs the bottom of the inspection, okay? So I've been answering to inspectors since 1999 when I got my first executive chef job. Okay, that's 21 years ago, all right? So I've got to tell you, the Ellenville building department is by far, in my experience, the worst. And it doesn't only stop with Brian Shug. Ken Bozo, who's the fire inspector, he was appointed the fire inspector here, I don't know, 2 years ago in Ellenville. And here's my biggest problem with Ken, besides him suing me and getting me on copyright claims, which I'll do that in another video, because he's got more coming. I got more videos coming for Ken Bozo. I've not stopped. I'm not going to slow down on this because I feel that the village needs to reprimand Ken Bozo and they need to reprimand Brian Shug. And it's just telling me that, oh, they're good inspectors, they're doing their job, and we're an asset. It's great to have these guys, representing Ellenville, and they're pro-business. Is not the answer I'm looking for, Village of Ellenville. These guys are unprofessional. Brian Shug is after me, and you know he's after me. Point blank, you know Brian Shug, the building inspector, is after me. He's doing very selective enforcement. He's a tyrant. He is a tyrant, okay? Now, Ken Bozo, his assistant, the fire inspector, every time he's coming to do an inspection with me, every time, he badmouths other businesses. He's talking crap about them. He's saying that this restaurant won't let him in the basement, and this guy over here on the floodplain has debris out there, and he's not cleaning up his debris, and the building over here on this street had this, and this problems, and the owner's not cooperating. He tells me that the owners are not cooperating with him. So here's my thing. Why in the hell are you airing out people's issues in their building? That's not your job to do that. Your job is to go in, inspect, help them, and get it to a point where it is safe. At that point, the inspection that you file and submit to the village, then anybody in the village can go see that. At that point, they can do the proper channels and go and access records. But before that piece of paper is filled out, it's not my business that the guy down the street hates you or doesn't want to do this or doesn't want to do that. And I got to tell you, if you're talking crap about all of those other business owners, landowners, building owners to me, what are you saying to me about me to them is my question. I mean, this is how rumors get started. This is how crap gets started. This is people say, oh my gosh, that restaurant, this and this and this, and that business owner, this and this and this. Ken Bozo, you can't do that. That's unprofessional and unethical, and I'm calling you out in this video. And if any of the village trustees are watching this, whoever's watching this from the village, the last village board meeting, I was called unethical by Ray Younger, or unprofessional by Ray Younger in the newspaper. Man, to characterize me as unprofessional when you haven't even talked to me about my side of the story, I might appear to be unprofessional, but I'm highly pissed off. I'm highly pissed off because you have a tyrant. You have a downright tyrant who's doing selective enforcement, and you guys know he's doing selective enforcement. You know damn well that Brian Shug is selectively enforcing me. He's been inspecting this building for the 13 years I've been here, and he's waited so long all of a sudden and started teaming up with the health department. Now there's other rumors flying out there around me. Well, Ken Bozo, you're not supposed to be talking crap about this. You're not supposed to be talking crap about other building and business owners. That's not your job. That's not your job. If somebody's really interested in the restaurant down the street and their fire inspection, they can go to Village Hall, file the form, whatever has to be done, and get access to the records to see it. But until then, until you write something down on paper and actually process it, that's nobody's business. It's nowhere in your job description, because I got both of your job descriptions. I got Brian Shug's and Ken Bozo's job descriptions, or Ken Bozo, as I like to say. And there's a lot of reasons why I call him Ken Bozo, and we're going to talk about those, because yes, Ken Bozo did sue me back in 2009. He sued me. He took me to court. Him and his cohort that he subcontracted to come do some work up on this level of the building. I had some stamped plans from him, architectural plans. So he's actually a local architect and the fire inspector. Major conflict of interest, in my opinion. Major conflict of interest. And he actually breached. He actually did exercise his conflict of interest by slapping me with copyright issues on something, which I'm going to talk about that in one of my next videos, because I'm actually going to report him to the Department of Education, because he shouldn't be allowed to access certain information as the fire inspector that can then benefit his business as an architect. Clear as day, unethical and a conflict of interest, Ken Bova, with his business and his job here. And he's mixed the two in between. And I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that video because he did send me a letter. He did send me a copyright letter on something. And, whether I'm guilty or not of copyright, the way he got the information is totally not right, unethical, and actually teetering illegal. The illegal activities that I see going on with this is just mind-boggling and insane here in the building department in Ellenville. So those videos will come. My fight is not over with the building inspector, Brian Shug. I've kind of laid low for the last week and a half. But I'm coming back with a couple jabs, and I'll have another upper hook coming pretty soon on Brian Shug. The village wants to actually meet with me and with the mayor and the village manager with Brian Shug, and I will sit down and meet with him because that meeting is scheduled for tomorrow. How do you dethrone a tyrant? And who this guy thinks he has no boss. Brian Shug thinks he has no boss. Now you have Ken Bovo who's in there, and who what is he thinking now? To go around and talk crap like that is totally uncalled for in a small village. That's how rumors get started. We're all here to support business. The more businesses you have, the more tax base you have, the more jobs you have, the more of a vibrant community you have, the more people that want to move into our community, the more housing values are going to go up. It's a whole big picture here, and you can't do that when you have a building department in Ellenville with Ken Bozo and Brian Shug at the helm of it. You can't do it. These two are not good for Ellenville, are not good for business, and the village trustees, the village board, the village officials need to look at these two very, very hard and question their ethics and question their performance. It's a well-known fact that Brian Shug, it's a well-known fact that he's forgetful. You talk to anybody, his memory's shot. His memory is shot. I did a video on why his memory is shot, and it could be many things why his memory is shot. I really don't know, but it's like he's almost burnt out, like just like a burnout. It's just he can't remember stuff. And why is that? I have another theory to why he can't that I have not presented in my last video on his memory, but that one I am going to save for a whole nother video, because that's going to be an interesting video, because the guy can't remember. The guy can't remember, or he's selectively enforcing. Okay, two issues: can't remember or selectively enforcing. If he's selectively enforcing, then the village needs to step in and say you're wrong. If he can't remember, and the village officials know they know he can't remember. If he can't remember, then the village officials need to step in and say, hey, you need to document everything you do. You need to document, and you got to be sure if you're going to open your mouth and say something stupid, that you got something to back it up. Incidentally, Brian Shug broke another law in my inspection. By law, he has to give me written violations within 30 days of inspecting. Written can either be in the mail or via email. I asked the mayor for my violations because I hadn't gotten anything. I said, hey, I haven't got any violations. I haven't got any violations. It turns out he waited 45 days. He surpassed that 30-day mark of giving me my violations. So he clearly broke the law one more time by waiting 45 days to hand or slap me with my violations. It just gets so ridiculous. The village now wants to get an outside inspector to come in and come and inspect. They want to pay somebody. And my thing is, Call the state inspector. There is a state regional inspector. She'll come here, Erica, she'll come here. It's free, it's paid for. The village doesn't have to pay for it, but they want to hire an outside inspector to come and inspect. When ultimately, we have to answer to the state. All these codes are state codes, right? We're answering to state codes unless the village has their own specific law that has been filed with the state and approved and recognized by the state. We're answering to state codes. Just get the state code inspector here. Get her here and let's see what's going on. Let's answer to her. Since I posted my last video, a lot more things have come to light here. So expect a little more jab, 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 and one or two uppercuts coming in here with content on Brian Shug and Ken Bozo. The Ken Bozo video is coming on copyright claims and his unethical way he got my information. Totally unethical and illegal. And I'm reporting him to the Department of Education because that's not right. And I should have reported to the Department of Educators when he threw that lawsuit on me back in 2009, because that lawsuit that he threw on me is something he's done with several other people in town too, where you sign a contract with him, he does work for you, and then all of a sudden, at the end of it, he tells the judge, he takes you to court and tells the judge, well, we had a handshake deal in the parking lot, or we agreed on $2,500 more dollars or $5,000 more dollars. And I didn't get suckered into it. My case got thrown out, but I know another guy who did not win the case like I did and had to pay several $1,000s extra above and out of his contract because Ken Bozo went in there and just pulled a scam on him. Total scam what this guy is doing, okay? He should not be the fire inspector, not be the fire inspector at all. So I'm gonna talk about my court case. I'm gonna show you some documentation I have from that. I'm coming back with more videos. Ellenville, village officials, you got to step your game up with these guys. You've got to step your game up. The tyranny has to stop. The stupidity has to stop. The lack of ethics has to stop in this village. We have to move forward. We need people that are qualified. We need people that are pro-business. We need people that are pro-business, that have good memories, that can get the job done and work with business owners and support them instead of coming into my business and bashing all the other business owners in town and why, what's wrong with their buildings before you're actually writing violations and citations and stuff like that. I'm not done. Stay tuned.